In a town, not too far from here, there's an old shoe repairer's shop. The outside of the shop looks very run down and uncared for. Even the window needs cleaning. The front of the shop is where the shoe mender keeps all his tools. There he can repair the shoes and boots brought into him. When they're repaired, he places them on shelves ready for their owners to collect. Some people are very forgetful and never come back to collect them. Others bring in shoes and boots that are so worn they're beyond repair. He's asked to throw them away, but he just can't. There's a room at the back of his shop that's very dusty and full of cobwebs. The floor is covered with boxes and tea chests. There are shelves along the walls, and the shoe mender keeps all the forgotten shoes and boots in here. There are shoes and boots everywhere. Some have been here for years. This room has a very special secret, and only one person knows it. Who do you think that person could be? No, it's not the shoe mender. The only person who knows the secret is me. Can you keep a secret? Can you? Promise? Very well. I'll share the best kept secret in the world, just with you. The door that leads to the back room doesn't fit very well, and every night when the shoe mender goes home, he has to slam it hard so it shuts. As the door slams shut, a cloud of dust fills the room, and as it settles, the strangest thing happens. Welcome to the magic world of the shoe people. We are now in Shoe Town. In this magic world, shoes and boots become real, just like you and me. Ah, here's PC Boot on his beat. He's just the person to show us around Shoe Town and introduce us to some of the people who live there. Would you mind, PC Boot?
Delighted, I'm sure. Right. Now, that house over there, looking like a circus tent, belongs to Charlie the Clown. Nice sort of fellow, to my way of thinking, but full of tricks. Now, this house belongs to Trampy, who, as you can see, is not exactly keen on home improvement. Ah, Sergeant Major lives here. Good morning, Sergeant Major.
Morning, sir.
Always shouts. Still thinks he's in the army. Ah, now here's a delightful cottage. Belongs to Margot, the ballerina.
Hello, PC Boot. Stopping for tea?
I'm afraid not, ma'am. Not while I'm on duty, thank you. Now, this odd-looking place belongs to Wellington. Pleasant enough chap, but as you can see, he's very fond of getting wet. Simply loves it when it's raining. And last but not least is, me. May I present my own little abode? Shoe Street Police Station. May not look much, but there's no place like home.
Thank you for showing us around, PC Boot, but we have to go now.
Oh, my pleasure, I'm sure.
Now you've met some of the shoe people and seen where they live. Maybe you'll want to share in some of their adventures. But remember, keep it a secret. Promise?
Every time you're skipping down the street, think about the shoes upon your feet. Today it's a magic world when your toes uncurl. Shoe people. Shoe people. Shoe people.
It was early morning in Shoetown. Everything was quiet and peaceful because everybody was still sleeping, except the birds and Sergeant Major.
Looks like I'm first on parade again.
The first thing Sergeant Major does every day is hoist the flag outside drill hall and salute it. Then he tidies up. Sergeant Major is a stickler for smartness. He spends hours polishing the badge on his hat and saying things like,
Spick and span!
and
Bags of elbow grease!
to anybody who'll listen.
Just the ticket. Now for a spotted drill.
Behind Drill Hall is a lovely green lawn. In fact, Drill Hall has the best kept lawn in Shoe Street.
By the left! Quick! Watch! Hey left! Hey left! Hey left! Right! Left! Hey left! Hey left! Pick those feet up! Pick them feet up! Hey left! Hey left! Hey left! Right! Left! Hey left! Hey left! Hey left! Hello, hello. That's not very neat. Not very neat at all. What this lawn needs is a good trim. Army fashion.
Sergeant Major's lawn has the straightest stripes you've ever seen. He even measures them with a ruler to make sure that they're all exactly the same width.
Spot on, her. A sight for sore eyes. Hold it, hold it. I've missed a bit. I must be slipping. That's more like it.
There are lots of flowers in the borders of the garden, and Sergeant Major inspects them every day.
Brace yourselves, brace yourselves. Petals out, leaves in. A turn. Wait for it, wait for it. Sharp. As you are. At ace.
Everything in Sergeant Major's garden is rosy. Well, almost everything. Sergeant Major lives next door to Trampy, and sometimes this proves to be a problem.
An eyesore, that's what it is. An eyesore. These wildflowers are for the chop. Understand? The chop.
When Sergeant Major opens his shears, all the flowers in the border look very sad and hang their heads.
Trampy needs a good talking to. Army style. Trampy! You horrible little boot. Get your edge cut. That's an order. That's done it. He's gone too far this time. I'll send him a warning on official army notepaper. Trampy, I'm ordering you to get your weeds back on your side of the fence at once, or I will cut them down tomorrow. Signed, Sergeant Major. This will make him back his ideas up. Right, that's Trampy sorted out. Now I can get back to a bit of drill practice. Left, left, right, left, left. Get them shoulders out, left, right, left.
Sergeant Major threatens to cut Trampy's flowers down at least once a day. But he never does.
Every time you're skipping down the street, think about the shoes upon your feet. Today it's a magic world when your toes uncurl. Shoo people. Shoo people. Shoo people.
It's the height of summer. The sea is sparkling in the warm afternoon sunshine. Everything is quiet and peaceful. Well, almost.
Left, right, left, right, left.
shoe people have arrived.
A lift, right, left, left, a lift, right, left.
There's no need to shout, Sergeant Major.
Left, right,
We're
left.
not deaf, you know.
Silence in the ranks. Left, right, left, 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 right, left. Coupling! Halt!
Phew, thank goodness, at last.
Cheer up! This is great! What could possibly be better than a day by the sea?
Oh, you stupid clown. 2 years in the army would do you good. Make a man of you. Teach you to be responsible.
Sergeant Major, we've come here to enjoy ourselves, not to listen to your lectures. Why don't you go for a nice long march up and down the beach? That'll make you feel better.
Yeah. Well, very well. You don't have to tell me twice. I know when I'm not wanted. Left, 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 right, left, 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 right.
Oh dear, that's done it. He's upset.
Don't worry, Trampy. You know he's only happy when he's moaning.
Meanwhile, Flip-Flop has found herself a nice place on the rocks to sunbathe. Please be careful, Flip-Flop. The tide's coming in and you might get washed off the rocks into the sea.
Oh, don't worry, Trampy. I'll be perfectly okay.
Nearby, Baby Booty is building a lovely sandcastle and is collecting seashells to use as decorations. Trampy finds himself a quiet spot to sit and read one of his favourite nature books, but still keeps a watchful eye on everyone. Meanwhile, Charlie has decided that the time has come for some fun and games.
Bo! I wonder where Flip-Flop's gone. Help! Help! Somebody help me!
It's Flip-Flop. The very thing that Trampy warned her about has happened. A large wave has washed her off the rocks into the sea.
Trappy! Charlie! Look sharp! Jump to it! On the double! Hop, 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 hop!
Help me, please! Oh, somebody!
Don't worry, Flip-Flop. We'll have you out in a jiffy. Charlie, quick, give me your shoelace. Charlie starts to undo his lace as fast as he can. It seems to take forever, but finally...
Here you are, Trampy!
Okay, Flip-Flop. I want you to catch one end of Charlie's lace, and we'll pull you in. Are you ready?
Ready?
Catch!
I've got it, Trampy!
Charlie and Trampy start pulling Flip-Flop towards the rocks, where Sergeant Major is standing ready to grab her.
There you are! Safe as houses.
Thank you, Sergeant Major. And thank you. You saved my life.
And with my lace! Hooray! Everybody laughs. Well, almost everybody.
Oh, stupid clown.
Every time you're skipping down the street, think about the shoes upon your feet. Today it's a magic world when your toes uncurl. Shoo people. Shoo people. Shoo people.
It's a lazy summer's afternoon in Shoetown, and Trampy is having a quiet sleep in his garden. Now, Trampy's garden is rather different from yours or mine. It's completely overgrown with long grass, wild flowers, and 2 of the biggest blackberry bushes you've ever seen. But Trampy wouldn't have it any other way. His neighbour, on the other hand, has rather different views on the subject. Trampy's neighbour, of course, is Sergeant Major. And at least once a day, he has a quiet word with Trampy about the state of it.
Trappy! Get your edge cut! Now! Is that clear?
But Sergeant Major, as usual, is wasting his breath. Trampy is fast asleep and dreaming about the past. Once, he had been brand new, all polished and shining. But as time went by, he became shabbier and shabbier. A large hole appeared in his toe cap, and another in his sole. In fact, by the time he ended up at the shoe repairer's shop, Trampy was so worn out, he couldn't be repaired. He felt very sorry for himself. He looked at the large dustbin in the corner of the shop and thought, well, this looks like the end of the road for me. But Trampy was quite wrong. The old shoe mender never threw any boot or shoe away. Instead, he polished Trampy's leather until it started to shine once more, and then placed him on a shelf in the back room of the shop. Now this was a very special room. A room with a secret. Trampy found himself in the magic world of the shoe people, surrounded by lots of new friends. In fact, a whole new life had begun for him. Trampy now lives in Tumbledown House, Shoe Street. But as you can see, he's not exactly house proud. Trampy doesn't attach much importance to appearances. The inside of Tumbledown House is always untidy. Trampy simply hates tidying up. He isn't very keen on washing up either. He prefers to sit in his favourite armchair in front of the fire and read his favourite newspaper. Shoetown News, of course. When he's not sitting by the fire, he loves to go for long walks in the countryside, often with Margot and baby Booty. He tells them stories about all the flowers and animals and makes it sound so very exciting. Trampy enjoys nothing better than having his friends from the countryside drop by for tea. Birds, butterflies, bees, they all come to Trampy's garden, knowing they will be perfectly safe there. Trampy has two special friends who visit him at least 3 times a week. A very prickly hedgehog called Hector, and a bushy-tailed squirrel called Red. There's always food for them at Trampy's table. Trampy is so kind and generous, everyone in Shoetown loves him. And nobody minds if he or his house is a little bit tumble down. Well, except Sergeant Major, of course, who, as we all know too well, objects most strongly to Trampy's garden.
Trampy! Will you wake up? I give up. It'd take an earthquake to shift that idle piece of leather. Lift, 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 right, lift, lift.
Trampy often dreams of the days when he was smart and new. But he doesn't miss them. No. He's very happy to be just Trampy.
Every time you're skipping down the street, think about the shoes upon your feet. Today it's a magic world when your toes uncurl. Shoo people, shoo people, shoo people.
It is a wonderful summer's day. The flowers are swaying to and fro in a warm breeze, and a skylark can be heard in the distance. The shoe people have decided this is a perfect day for a walk in the country. They are wondering what they should take with them when PC Boot, who is looking through his notebook, says,
Well, this time we've really done it. Here it is in my notebook, as plain can be, in black and white, written by my hand, signed and dated.
Oh, for goodness sake, PC Boot, what have we done?
Done? What have we done? We've only forgotten Trampy's birthday, that's all.
Poor Trampy. So that's why he looks so sad this morning.
Something has to be done. Let me think. I know. Trampy loves the countryside. Let's ask him to come for a walk with us. We won't tell him we know it's his birthday, and we'll give him a lovely surprise party.
What a brilliant idea! I'll do a special circus act.
And I'll pack the picnic basket. Charlie goes home and begins to look through his big box of tricks. He puts a large spring underneath his hat, fills his pockets with lots of coloured handkerchiefs, and then fills his daisy with water. Margot has just finished packing the picnic basket when she hears Trampy coming along the path.
Hello, Trampy. We're going for a walk in the country. Would you like to come with us?
No, thank you, PC Boot. I don't feel at my best today.
Please come, Trampy. Please, Trampy, just for me. I'll be so unhappy if you don't.
Dear Margot, how could I possibly make you unhappy? Of course I'll come. That looks like a good field to have our picnic in.
Margot spreads a large tablecloth on the grass and begins to set out the food. There are little fancy cakes, a big creamy trifle, and a large jug of ice-cold orange juice. Meanwhile, the others are over at the far side of the field, where they have found some small bales of hay.
This is marvellous, just like a circus ring.
Trampy calls Margot over to watch Charlie's act, and they wait for the show to begin. With a clash of cymbals, Charlie somersaults off the bales straight into the centre of the ring. Everybody claps and cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, today is a very special day. And this show is a birthday surprise for our best friend, Trampy. We want to wish him the happiest of happy birthdays.
And with that, the show begins.
Margot and PC Boot laugh so much that their tummies hurt.
Margot claps and claps, and Trampy gives his loudest whistle. When the show is over, Margot opens the picnic basket and takes out a lovely birthday cake covered in delicious icing. She places it in the middle of the cloth, and PC Boot lights the candle. Then they all wish Trampy happy birthday. Everyone cheers.
Thank you so much. This has been the best party that I've ever had. And I thought you'd all forgotten my birthday.
Forget your birthday, Trampy. Never.
Every time you're skipping down the street, think about the shoes upon your feet. Today it's a magic world when your toes uncurl. Shoo people, shoo people, shoo people.
There is an air of excitement in Shoetown today. Posters have been mysteriously appearing all over the place.
Tonight, for one performance only, Margot, Shoetown's very own world-famous ballerina. 5 o'clock at Swan Lake Cottage. P.S. Tea and biscuits afterwards.
It isn't exactly the neatest of posters, but then Trampy isn't exactly the best of artists. Trampy thinks that Margot is the most beautiful ballerina in the whole world, and has done ever since he first saw her dance. But there was once a time when she thought she would never dance again. When Margot first arrived at the shoe repairer's shop, she had a large tear in her side. She was sure that her days as a ballerina were over. But the shoe mender had other ideas. After many hours of hard work, the shoe mender managed to repair the tear in Margot's side. She looked as good as new. The shoe mender placed her in the front window of the shop, and there she waited for the little girl who owned her to come and collect her. She waited and waited and waited. but the little girl never came. Perhaps I'll have to stay in this window forever. But one day, the shoe mender took Margot out of the window and placed her on a shelf in the back room of the shop. Margot suddenly found herself in the magic world of the shoe people. Now, Margot lives in Swan Lake Cottage. Everybody says it's the prettiest house in Shoetown, and Margot loves to keep it that way. There's a room in Swan Lake Cottage where Margot spends time each day doing her exercises and practicing her ballet steps. She believes in getting everything just right. Trampy finishes the last poster and hurries off to hang it up somewhere. 5 o'clock is approaching, and he wants to make sure of a good seat at Margot's performance. The shoe people start to arrive at Swan Lake Cottage. They gather in Margot's lovely garden and talk excitedly among themselves. At last, it's 5 o'clock, and Margot appears. She's carrying a watering can.
Yeah, well, that's a bit peculiar for a ballet.
The performance begins. The shoe people suddenly realise what Margot is doing. She has turned watering the flowers into a ballet, and the flowers are dancing along with her. It's the most amazing dance they've ever seen. All too soon, Margot's performance comes to an end. The shoe people clap and cheer, and Trampy gives his loudest whistle. Margot reappears with tea and biscuits, and everybody helps themselves.
Evening, Margot. Marvellous show. Absolutely marvellous.
Why, thank you, Sergeant Major. You should try it sometime with your flowers.
Oh, no, I don't think so, Margot. Don't think they would appreciate it.
Trampy imagines Sergeant Major trying to ballet dance with a watering can and thinks it's so funny that he almost chokes on his biscuit. Poor Trampy, says Margot, slapping him on the back.
You really shouldn't rush the biscuits.
Every time you're skipping down the street, think about the shoes upon your feet. Today it's a magic world when your toes uncurl. Shoe people. Shoe people. Shoe people.
It's morning at Shoetown Police Station, and PC Boot is preparing to go out on his beat.
Do-do-do-do-do. Hello, a letter. I wonder who from.
Dear PC Boot, would you kindly tell your water-squirting clown friend that I'd like to have a little word with him behind Drill Hall? 0900 hours, sharpish. Yours, Sergeant Major.
Oh dear. Sergeant Major seems upset. Charlie must have squirted him with water once too often. Oh well, duty is duty. I'd better go and collect Charlie before he gets into any more trouble. Hello? Charlie? Can I have a word, please? Oh, obviously not in. I wonder where he could be.
It's a pity PC Boot hadn't arrived a little earlier. If he had, this is what he would have found inside the little big top. Charlie rakes the sawdust every day, making it as smooth as a carpet. Then he makes sure that his box of magic tricks is in good working order. There's a trapeze hanging from the top of the tent, and Charlie practices on it each day. But first, he has to get up there. shoe people love to watch Charlie on the trapeze, even though some of the tricks he performs makes them gasp with fright. Charlie uses the garden for practicing his tightrope act. He's put up washing lines all over the place, and his favourite trick is to somersault from one line to another. Charlie lives next door to Trampy. The two of them are great friends, and Trampy often comes out to watch Charlie practicing.
Hello, Charlie. How are you this fine day?
Very well, thank you. I'm having a simply bountiful time.
The only trouble with Charlie is that you have to be so careful when talking to him. He's so full of tricks. He'll either pull funny faces or squirt water at you from his daisy. But the shoe people don't really mind Charlie's behaviour. He cheers them up if they're feeling sad and can always be relied upon to make them laugh. Well, all except Sergeant Major.
Get your haircut! That's an order! It's a wonder PC Boot hasn't locked that bouncing menace away.
Speaking of PC Boot, it's about time we rejoined him in his search for Charlie.
It's strange. No sign of Charlie anywhere. And it's almost 9 o'clock.
But as PC Boot approaches Drill Hall, he hears Sergeant Major calling in his loudest voice.
Left, right, left, right. Come on, Charlie, pick that daisy up.
Oh dear.
Right.
Sounds as if Sergeant Major has already found Charlie and he's putting him through drill practice.
Right.
Oh, poor old Charlie.
Right. Left.
Just a
Right.
minute.
Right. Left. Right. Left. Morning, PC Boo. Charlie's been kind enough to help me with a spot of gardening. Watering can't see better days, you see. And so I thought to myself, now who do I know that owns a portable water supply? And quick as a flash, the answer comes. Charlie.
Always glad to help out, Sergeant Major.
There are, you see. Even stupid clowns can be useful, but only sometimes.
Every time you're skipping down the street, think about the shoes upon your feet. Today it's a magic world when your toes uncurl. Shoe people. Shoe people. Shoe people.
It's morning in Shoetown, and it looks as though a storm is on the way. The shoe people hate rainy weather. Well, all except one of them. In weather like this, Wellington has the happiest face in Shoetown.
Rain, rain, hooray, hooray. Today's the day I go out to play.
Somebody shut that welly up. I'm trying to have a snooze.
My name is Wellington, if you don't mind. Sarge.
Sarge? How dare you call me that? I wish you were in my regiment. I'd have you peeling potatoes for a remark like that.
Oh, no, you wouldn't.
I most certainly would.
Wouldn't.
Would?
Now look, Sergeant Major, he isn't in your regiment. So let's not argue about such silly things.
Excuse me, boys, but I really must go to dance rehearsals. Would anyone care to come with me?
What a splashingly good idea! I can jump in all the puddles.
Well, it looks like the rain has stopped, so we'll all come along. The shoe people set off for the ballet school. Wellington splashes in and out of every puddle he can find, while the others do their best to keep well out of his way.
If I wanted to be this wet, I would have joined the Navy.
Oh, don't go on, Sergeant Major. Let the lad enjoy himself. The shoe people finally reach the ballet school and find to their horror a large, muddy puddle completely blocking the entrance.
Oh dear, I can't possibly walk through that. My lovely pink satin would be ruined.
Don't worry, Margot. We'll think of some way to help you. All right, everybody. Think.
Hello, everybody. What's the problem?
We're trying to think of some way of getting Margot across this puddle.
Well, that's simple. If she stands on Wellington's toe cap, he can carry her through it.
And what if the water's so deep that it covers Wellington's toe cap?
Oh, hadn't thought of that.
Stupid clown!
Well, can you think of anything better?
Of course. This simply calls for army training and army thinking. Charlie, Wellington, fall in! Stupid clown! Fall in does not mean fall into the puddle. It means prepare yourself for the first manoeuvre. Get out and dry out.
Yes, Sergeant Major.
Right, Wellington. Into that puddle with you. Out to the middle, go on. And stand perfectly still. Charlie, make a bridge out to Wellington with your toe. Come along, get on with it. Don't take all day.
Yes, sir, Sergeant Major.
Now, Margot, you spin out to Wellington along Charlie's toe. Is that clear?
Yes, Sergeant Major.
OK, Margot. Wait there for further instructions. Charlie, move your idle body self and jump across that little lake.
Yes, Sergeant Major.
And now, another one of those bridges, if you please.
Charlie obeys the order, and Margot spins prettily along his toe to safety. Thank you, Charlie. And I'm very grateful to you too, Sergeant Major.
You're too kind, Margot. Too kind.
How marvellous to have such army training.
Once a soldier, always a soldier.
And once a clown, always a clown.
Shoo, 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 shoo.